Today I have 5 digital winter activities for you to use in your Spanish classroom. As always, you know that I will put links to everything in the description of this video below, so let's jump in. Number 1 is this movie talk / clip chat based off this snowman who just wants to go to somewhere warm. So it's super cute. They start by doing this activity to kind of warm up their brains to the vocab and what they think is going to happen in the story. So they copy and paste the captions so they match on each slide. And there is a slide to match the emojis to the words. Again, just kind of warming up their brains to some of the vocab. So they're going to read the words and drag the emoji to match. Most of these are words that my students have encountered before. It's just, like I said, helping them remember what these phrases mean. Then I ask them to summarize the story in English. All of this is about predicting and kind of getting their brains warmed up so they're thinking about what do they think is going to happen based on the information that they have in the slides. So then I do the talk and I just play and pause and I talk about it with them. I really try to focus on wants, likes, and then the weather vocabulary that's associated with it. It's a really short video, just 1 minute long, and at the end of it we watch the whole thing. And then I give them this printable handout. I just printed in black and white. I know the images are in color, but whatever, grayscale. And they retell the story based on this little comic strip that I've created. And it's just cute to see what they come up with. The next digital winter activity is this winter break writing student pages. Basically, it's just checking in on how was their weekend, how was their time while we were not together, while they were off doing whatever it was that they were doing for fun. So this is how they can fill me in on that. And there's a whole bunch of different pages. I'll just kind of tap through so you can see. Some of them are I'm going to do, and some of them are I did. There's some in English because I've taught exploratory classes. They weren't ready for the Spanish output. And there are some that are just cute and wintry, but without any prompts. So you could just say, hey, tell me about your weekend in X number of sentences. Very simple. You just share it with them via Google Classroom or whatever your learning management system is, and they just type and then they share it back to you or turn in. You could also have them do this and then do rotating speed date, speed dating kind of sharing where, they write about what they did over the weekend and then they share it with their group or they share it with their partner. Digital winter activity number 3 is also on Google Slides. This is just the individual student page, but sometimes I have them all work in a big presentation where everybody has a page in the same set of slides. This is nice because you can see what everybody is doing all at the same time. Sometimes it's not so nice because they choose to bother each other. So, you know your classes, just choose what works for you. The way this one works is they choose a body, face, and accessories to build their snowman. So if you scooch over here, so they have different body parts, pieces of a snowman, and they just drag them onto the slide to create their snowman. And then they can change the color. So if I pick the hat, I can go to the fill and I can say, ooh, I want him to wear a yellow hat. Right? So they can change the colors like that. Once they're done building their snowman, they've got arms, they've maybe added a scarf or some hats or, whatever shape buttons they want. Over on the right side of the slide, they're going to just quickly describe their snowman. So this is handy if you are working on colors or clothing or, adjectives. They can describe that they have a big snowman, a little snowman, tall snowman, all sorts of things. Changing the colors depending on what they put on him. Just a quick little description. After they've all written their descriptions, an option for you is you could pull their snowman off the slide or pull all their descriptions off the slides and put them into a doc. And then they have to read the descriptions and look at the picture of the snowman and see if they can figure out description number 1 is snowman letter B, and becomes a reading comprehension activity. Just another option. Digital winter activity number 4 is a mystery picture boom card set. So it says click the correct image to reveal the hidden picture. It's just weather vocabulary. So it says a muñeco de nieve. So they're going to look at all the pictures and they're going to pick which vocabulary word is being described. And then if they get it right, oh, now that box is gone. Mystery picture, the further that they get, the more of the picture they're going to start to see. And then as they get all the way to the end, the mystery picture will be revealed. Digital activity number 5 is actually kind of 2 activities in one. I'm going to show you part 1 and then part 2. And we are back on boom cards, and this is a digital story. It is muted, but I don't know if you can tell from the speaker in the top left, it reads it to them while they go. So let's just click through this first one. So you can see that the green light is blinking here. That's just saying, hey, sound is coming out. So it's reading it to them so they can listen and follow along. And then on the bottom right, there's also some vocabulary supports, just because I never want my novice students to be like, what is happening? So I like to give them some of those sports, especially for some seasonal vocabulary that they might not quite know yet, or maybe just haven't encountered enough to have totally mastered. So this is option 1. It just reads it to them and they listen and follow along. Second option looks kind of similar, right? Same story, right? It's reading it to them. They can listen and follow along. The vocabulary supports are still there. But also, now there's some comprehension questions. So if they need to, they can go back and reread the story and re-listen to the story. And then they're going to answer the question based on what they read. And if they're correct, it'll move them on. And if they're incorrect, it's going to go and give them that instant feedback like, oh, if you need to, you can go back and reread, right? Some of them have more than 2 options. So if they need to, they can go back and reread. And it just kind of gives them an idea. So when we're talking about the 2 options for the 5th digital activity, that story on Boom Learning, I like to use them both. Usually what we'll do is I'll use the version without comprehension questions and I'll just project it on the screen and we'll kind of story talk it together. So while we're reading the story, I'll ask them questions, we'll circle it a little bit, we'll do a little bit of PQA, and then later, maybe the next day for warm-up, or maybe depending on the length of that lesson, then they'll get option 2 and they'll do it on their own. So that way they're rereading the story and there's some comprehension checks along the way. Super easy for me to grade because Boom is auto grading, but it's just a really nice option. It's a really great way to use both and to get a little bit more out of the story. If you have any questions at all, drop a comment and I can help you out. Thanks for watching.